Hello everybody, this is Ross Smith with Letting Go Solutions. I'm an EFT practitioner and I'm here today to give you a brief demonstration of what a session with me would be like. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, better known as tapping. Tapping is a wonderful modality that is used to help alleviate negative emotions like stress and fear and anxiety, as well as physical pain that is emotion-based. If you came into me for, say, you came into me for anxiety around giving a presentation at work in front of your colleagues and your boss, and I would ask you, what is the feeling? What are you feeling? What's your target emotion? What are we going for here? And you'd say, well, I'm very anxious about giving this presentation next week in front of my colleagues and in front of my boss. And I would say, well, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being not anxious at all and 10 being just completely anxious, where are you? I'm at about an 8, say. Okay, you feel that anywhere in your body? Yeah, I feel it in my stomach. It's like a bowling ball. It's got some spikes in it. Does it have any color? Yeah, it's kind of a smoldering red. And discomfort-wise, on a scale of 0 to 10, how uncomfortable is that feeling in your stomach when you're tuned into this fearful emotion? I'm probably at about a 7. So, recapping, you're coming in here because you are anxious. You have fear around giving this presentation next week in front of your colleagues and in front of your boss. Is that right? Yes, that's how I feel. And that's at about an 8. Yes, and then you're feeling it in your stomach. The physical manifestation of this fear is that you're feeling it in your stomach. It feels like a bowling ball. It's got spikes on it, and it's a smoldering red. Is that correct? Yes, and it's at about a 7 on the discomfort scale. Yes, it is. Okay, so I would say, we're going to begin the session with setup. And here's what a setup consists of. It consists of tapping on the karate chop, and at the same time making a statement around what you're feeling, the emotion that you're feeling. And then on the other end of that statement, at the back side of it, is I completely accept my feelings around this. Okay, or something similar to that. I completely accept myself. I love and accept myself. I've heard many statements made. I honor my feelings around this. But what it amounts to is homing in on the target emotion, which is fear or anxiety, and then on the other end of that saying, well, in spite of these feelings that I have, I accept myself. I honor my feelings around this. There's no judgment. That's just the way I feel. Okay, so let's go through it. Tap on your karate chop, and then you just repeat after me. Monkey see, monkey do. Even though I feel this anxiety around this presentation that I have to give next week, I totally and completely accept my feelings around this. Even though I have this fear or anxiety around giving this presentation in front of my colleagues and my boss next week, I totally and completely accept my feelings around this. Even though I have this anxiety, I'm anxious about giving this presentation next week in front of my colleagues and my boss, I totally and completely accept my feelings around this. Okay, so that's the setup. We do that 3 times. And you don't have to do it 3 times. Some people I've seen it taught, they just do it once. But the way I was taught, you do it 3 times, so that's the way I do it. Top of the head is the first tapping point, and you tap on these points as you go through them while you're making a reminder statement. A statement that reminds you of the emotion that you're tapping on or that you're dealing with. So top of the head, this anxiety. And then the second spot is right here at the end of the eyebrows. This anxiety. Right here on the bony part beside the eye. This anxiety. Under the eye, down about an inch, half an inch. This anxiety. Under the nose, this anxiety. And the words are not that important as long as they home in on your emotion. You can say this fear, this presentation fear. This point is right down from where I've got my tie here. It's in that V below your Adam's apple. Go down a couple of inches and then over a couple of inches. There's an indentation there. It's kind of called the sore spot. And just find that and then tap right there and say your reminder statement. This fear about giving a presentation. Under the arm. This last spot is right under the armpit. For a woman, it's right where the bra band goes back. For a man, it's down 3 or 4 inches. Tap there. Say your reminder statement. This anxiety, this fear. That's a round. So you've done 1 round of EFT. I would probably do more than 1 round before I would come back and evaluate. But let's say you did 2 or 3 rounds. I would say, okay, is there any change in your distress level? Where is your fear now? Where is your anxiety now? It was at an 8 when we started. Where is it now? Let's say it's at a 4. It's come down 4 points. How does your stomach feel? You were distressed before. You're not distressed, but you were uncomfortable before at a level of about 7. Where are you now? It's not as bad. It's at it's probably at a 3. So it's gone down some. So you've made some progress. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. It could go up. Something could come in to your memory that causes it to even go up further. Maybe you had a vision of one of your coworkers making fun of you or something during this presentation that you have to give. So it can go up. It can do whatever. But that doesn't matter what it does. We just home in on whatever emotion is there. So we reevaluate. Then we go through another round or 2 or 3 or 4 with a reminder statement that it says this remaining anxiety, this remaining fear. And by the way, you don't have to use 2 hands. You can, you don't have to. You can just use 1. This fear, this anxiety, and then go through that several rounds and come back and reevaluate it again. And hopefully it goes down to 0 and you no longer have any emotional attachment to giving your presentation next week. And that's the way it works. We just keep going until we get it down to 0 if possible. Now, things might come up. You might have all kinds of things come up during these tapping sessions. And there can be other emotions come up. There can be things come up that you don't even think has anything to do with the presentation. And maybe it doesn't, but that might be what comes up, and we would tap on that. I would write that down. We would tap on it either then or later according to what you wanted to do right then. And we would clear that emotion as well until the end of the session. So that pretty well covers the EFT session with me, what that would be like. I would love it if you would set up an appointment and we can get together and tap on whatever is bothering you, whatever emotion is coming up to the top. I have tapped on myself hundreds of hours. My wife and I have tapped hundreds of hours on things that are in our life. Things that bother us, things that come up that happened in our life when we were kids up until what happened yesterday. So tapping is always available. It's a completely harmless and gentle modality that can be used for just about anything. So feel free to give me a call, email me on this website, and I will get back with you and we will set up a tapping session. And remember, you are responsible for your well-being. Please look at the disclaimer on my website here and check out the other video on this page that gives a definition of what EFT is and how it works. And I appreciate you spending time with me today, and I hope you have a powerful, powerful day. Get in touch with me soon, and we'll get together and work on what's bothering you. Have a wonderful day.